Hello friends, welcome to my channel A1 Excel Tips. So today I am having one more another exciting or amazing Excel template which is quite useful in agile practice. So if you belong from agile practice, you are we often use JIRA as a tool, as a project manager tool. And JIRA is quite helpful to manage our task and all. So today I'm going to show you how we can use this template in order to calculate or in order to analyze JIRA Logged gap report. Okay, so before I take you through that template, let me tell you the overall concept of it. So guys, if you belong from an agile environment, you're aware that we do have a scrum. In any scrum team there are there could be a few team members where into different roles, right? And every team member has to log his or her hours into Jira with respect to the work what is assigned to them on a daily basis, right? So here let's take a simple example of a scrum team where we have these two employees, Farah and Joseph, and the defined working hours for them is 8 hours. So there is this sprint which is starting from 26 April to 7th May, right? And for this sprint they have been assigned some task for against which they have to log hours into Jira. Okay, then okay, so this is now I'm going to tell you the concept. So for example, let's say Farah Tapscott, if for there are 10 days in this sprint and there would be a total 80 hours she has to log into Jira, right? So you can see the total hours in context, total leave hours. So for example, in this concept, so I'm going to tell you. So for example, let's say Farah Tapscott is on leave on let's say 2 days in this sprint, and another employee Joseph has planned 3 leaves in this sprint. So we have to calculate that what is the actual hours they have to log vis-a-vis what is the gap. So we have to consider the leaves also while calculating this, right? So for example, Farah, we have planned that she is on 2 days leave, so there would be 16 leave hours for her, right? And after considering her leave hours, what would be the actual or availability for her? 64 hours, right, for this. And for this guy Joseph, since we have planned 3 leaves for him, so there would be 24 hours we'll consider as leave hours for Joseph, and after considering the leave hours there would be 56 total available hours for him in this sprint, right? Now this, for example, we are on a third day of the sprint, right? We are on a third day of the sprint, and we have to identify that how many hours they must have logged by those days, right? So we have to consider that whether they are on leave on the third day or not. So for example, you can see that Farah is on leave on third day, right? So we will not consider 8 hours for that particular day, right? So we'll consider only these 2 days as a working day. So by third day there should be 16 hours logged by Farah, right? By Farah. And for Joseph, since he was also leave on first day of the sprint, so by third day again we will consider only 2 working days for him. So same for him as well, there has to be 16 hours in Jira for Joseph as well, right? Now we will consider, right, we will cross check, or we will identify the gap. Now this column logged hours as on 8th May, this data we will extract from Jira, right? I'm going to show you how we can do that. So this data will come from Jira report. Let's say there is data from let's say these many hours. So now we can simply identify what is the actual gap, in their logged hours by the third day of the sprint, right? Okay, now in the same manner we can identify this, we can identify the real-time gap basis on their considering their leave hours of their respective team members of the scrum, and we can compare those particular hours with vis-a-vis the report which we can extract from Jira. And this is how we can get the real-time gap or report from this sheet, right? So now this concept is clear. Now let's go back to our template. So here I am having a template, Excel based template, which does all these calculations automatically, right? So now I'm going to tell you how this template works. So if you are aware, if you have seen my previous videos on capacity planning and this, so you are familiar with this template, right? So in this template there are 5 sheets in it. So the first sheet, which is the main sheet, where you just need to identify the sprint number. You can just change the sprint number from here, and it will change the data as well, right? And at the bottom there's a we can see the list of the scrum team members name. You can see here along with their roles, right? And at the bottom you can see the calendar format. This is basically showing the sprint duration, right? And on the right side, the simple thing which we have seen earlier as well, it will showing you total leave hours in current sprint for that particular employee for that particular duration, right? So if you will change the sprint number here, it will change the duration, and so it will be changed here also, right? And in this data, in this format, you will find that if there any leave or holidays has been planned by these employees, and this will be showing automatically, because this is linked with the employees leave plan, right? All right, so at the bottom you can see okay, on the right side you will see one column which is showing you total leave hours, second column which will show you total available hours after excluding the leaves or holidays hours, and this will show you hours to be logged as on 4th May, right? As I told you guys, so this will show you the actual hours by that day. So you can change the date from here also, and this is taking by default this is taking the current date, today's date, because if you are running on the current sprint, this date will be picked up automatically and it will pick the current date of that sprint. If you want to change that date, you can change it from here, right? And on the right side, this column will show you logged hours as on 4th May. So this I told you, this column will be extra will get the data from the JIRA report. I'm going to tell you how this is going to take. And on the last column you will find the actual gap, right? Actual gap in the hours basically, right? On the right side, okay, now let's go to the next sheet, which is a sprint base. So this is the sheet where we will extract and put our JIRA Logged gap report. I'm going to show you how. And the third sheet is the basically employee detail, where you can just plot your scrum team members name and other details here. The next sheet is employees leave plan. So as I told you, this is a calendar format where you can just plan your employees leave plan, right? And this will be considered automatically while calculating the logged gap report. The next sheet is the holiday list. You can also plot your company's holiday. You just need to put the dates here, and this will be automatically considered here as an holiday. It will be shown automatically as an holiday, right? Okay, so now let's see how, let's take a real-time example of how this is working. So let me change the date here for you guys. All right, okay, so let's take an example of sprint 97, which is starting from 26 April to 7th May. All right, at the bottom you will find that there's an employee called Shubham, and you can see that there are few leaves have been mentioned for him, right? And from this is coming from this sheet. So for Shubham you will see 26 April, all right, yes, okay. So you can see that for Shubham I have brought some leaves here, and this is being calculated or being shown here also. Okay, now let's take an example how we need to work. So how, now we just need to take the JIRA report. So let's go to JIRA for that. Okay, so you are familiar with JIRA. So in JIRA there is a additional plugin is available, which is known as QuickTime Sheet. As you can see here, you can also add this plugin. This is available free of cost in JIRA. Once you will click on this add-in, which is a QuickTime Sheet, there is an option called Generate Advanced Report. You just need to click on this button, and from the next page you just need to do few selections. So first of all, in the date by we will select range, and important, you just need to select you can select the current sprint range, right? So or whatever sprint duration you are working, you just need to select that sprint. So in my company, sprint gets started from Monday, so I'm taking, let's say, Monday to next Friday, which is a okay. So this is a sprint, and on the last column we'll select by field, and in the field column you need to select assignees and click on the generate button. Okay, so once you will click on the generate button, the JIRA will show you logged hour report for that particular duration. Once you'll get the report, just click on the export button, click on Excel format, and here you will get the JIRA logged hour report in Excel format. You just need to copy it and paste it. We will just copy it and paste it in our template sprint base, right? You can just replace the existing data, copy it once again and paste it here, right? So once you will paste it, okay, so now what is showing? This is showing that how many hours has been logged by these particular employees for the duration in JIRA, right? Now you will identify one thing, that this report is showing in a kind of a different format. Different in the sense, this is showing 40H or something like that, 41H, 30M. What does all mean? So H stands for hours and M stands for minute. So this is how this report is being shown. But guys, if you are aware, if you are familiar with Excel, you can simply identify that in this kind of format or this kind of data, we cannot perform any mathematical equation, any calculation. For example, let's say if I am going to multiply this particular data by 2, this will give me an error. And why? Because this data is not in a numerical format. This is a kind of alphanumerical format, which is not acceptable by the Excel sheet in order to do some sort of calculation. So what we'll do here, so we will do we'll take in help of a macro, which is going to convert this data into absolute numerical format, right? So I have already done that. There's a macro assigned to this Excel sheet, and we just need to click on this button, run report, and let's see what happens when I click on this run report button. Bingo. So when I click on this run report button, you can see that the data has come into the purely numeric format, right? And as I told you, this data is already being calculated or being fetched here in this column, logged hour gap report. You can identify. So the data which we are taking from JIRA is being shown here, right? Now you can see. So we'll take one more example of employee, let's say Fartap Scott. So we will see that now we will plan some more leaves for these employees, so you can just identify. All right, so for example, Farah, I'm going to apply leaves for entire week. Okay, now let's see. Okay, now let's see, when I change the data in the leave report, it is automatically being showing here also. Okay, now you can see for Farah showing me leave or holiday or full day off for entire week, right? And on the right side you can see that it is showing me the total leave hours for Farah is 48 hours, total available hours would be 40 again, and hours to be logged is also showing me 40, and hours as on May, logged hours on May is also showing me 40. Okay, so the gap is 0. Okay, so this is how you can take the help of this template in order to gauge the real-time logged hour gap report for your Scrum team.